Hey everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching as always. This video is going to be a little bit of an experimental video, so to speak. As y'all know, HIPAA has sent me 3 carburetors so far, and I have a few more 2-cycle things that I wanted to get fixed, and so I went out and bought a few of them myself. You know, HIPAA is a few dollars more than the cheapest thing that you can find, so I'm gonna do a little bit of experiment and just see. I bought the cheapest thing I could find on eBay. I think it's about $5 cheaper than the HIPAA products, and I'm just gonna take the bag out and see what we got, see what's different about it. The comparison that I'm gonna do, at least in this video, and for time's sake we might do the chainsaw too. I've got this BL150 weed eater here that I put a HIPAA carb in, and I've got this POS BL110 or something back here that has this exact same setup in it. So let's look in the bag here. So we've got an air filter. I'm just looking for quality wise. Primer bulb. You don't get a nice box, so you get in this little made in China manila envelope. 1 fuel filter, a bunch of fuel line. The HIPAA kit had 3 short pieces. This had, or 2 short pieces and 1 long piece. This has 2 long pieces of fuel line. Gaskets and carb. Whoop. Gaskets, the carb, which actually has some numbers on it, and the HIPAA one had engravings right here. This one does not. We got Pac-Man adjustments. So the difference, the only difference I can see, and we've got a spark plug here, it's the same Savior brand as the HIPAA. The only thing I can see is that you don't get a second fuel filter, and you don't get as much fuel line with this cheapo kit. I will link the description down below as to how to put one of these on a trimmer like this BL250 or BL110, whatever you got. And what we'll do is we'll pick this video up whenever I get this carburetor on, and we do have to do a little more work to it. I do have to change the shaft out on it because I think somebody got really frustrated with it. I'll show you in just a second. If we have time in the end of this video, we'll also check out the Husqvarna 136. I actually got a Husqvarna 41 in, and I bought another cheap carb setup exactly like it, the HIPAA one. So we're going to kind of test that as well. I think we got enough time in this video for that, because the only in-depth thing I'm going to show you is how to take that shaft off and put it back on this weed eater. I'll show you the weed eater here that we're going to work on, and it's donor weed eater, and then we'll get started on that, and maybe we'll get that Husqvarna. If not, I might save it for another video. But again, thank you all for watching as always. We'll get going here. If this is your first time watching Ellis Mowers, thank you for watching, first off. And if you like the content, feel free to subscribe. I got a bunch of videos out there. And do a bunch of lawn equipment stuff. 2-cycle, 4-cycle mowers, riders. If it's got a small engine and it's lawn equipment related, I've probably done it. You can reach out to me, Ellis, at ellismowers.com, or at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook if you have any questions about the video or comments. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you this weed eater, and then I'll slap a carb on it, and then we'll change the shaft out. Alright, so here are our 2 victims. Not really victims, but this should go pretty quickly. We've got, again, just 2 weed eaters here. There are these BL110 something and others. All the stickers and stuff are gone off of them. This one, the pull rope's been pulled out of it. However, somebody was like, got really angry with this one, and they bent the shaft on it somewhere. I don't think I can bend this thing back without a... Yeah, we might try. We might try. But she's I'll put you on the side there and see how that's supposed to be straight. So what we might do is take this shaft, which is a lot straighter, and just pop this off and pop that one on. Only thing is the throttle cable. That's the only thing we got to worry about, because the shut-off switches are on the side. So this thing actually will still pull, and if I could get some sort of like leverage here, I might be able to bend it back. But this is what we're working on. Again, this is not too difficult to get off. If you got a T20 and some pliers, the hardest part is getting this fuel filter out of the gas tank. You can see this gas tank is super clean on this thing. Even the fuel filter is really clean, which is awesome. So that shouldn't be an issue. This one should run pretty easily once we get going here. Like I said, we just probably have to swap that shaft out for that one right there. Shouldn't be too difficult. Like I said, we'll make sure this thing runs first. If it does, or we'll do the carb swap on it, and then we'll do the shaft swap. I already have determined this thing would not have stayed if it didn't run on 2-cycle mix. So that's where we're at. We'll go ahead and do it. All right, y'all, we're gonna take, this is the donor weed eater. We're gonna take this handle, the shaft off and put it on the other one. Not too difficult, hopefully. The hardest part is, I guess, making sure that we don't lose the throttle spring here. We do need to transfer the throttle from one to the other. Otherwise, I'd have to change out the throttle cable, and that might be easy. We'll see once we break open this. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 T20 torques. We're going to loosen this up. Pull it apart, and it literally just comes off just like that, which is awesome. Just make sure that your throttle cable stays in its slot there. When you put it back together, you should be good to go. Now the other thing is, we just got to take the shaft. It's a T20. This is like the set screw, and so it's a little bitty. And it looks like a 8mm. Maybe a 5/16. Let's see. No, 8mm works. Now this loosens up the shaft. There's a nut on the other side as well. I'm gonna grab my wrench for that. So it's just two 8mm. Put the wrench on one side. Actually, it may be a, is it a 10 on the other side? Might be a 10. Yep. 8 and a 10, probably a 5/16 and a 3/8, depending on what we're dealing with here. But we're just loosening it up. And in theory, that should be all that we need to do to get this thing off. There we go. So I'll do that to the other one, and then we'll figure out, I'll video putting this back on. It's really not that hard at all. All right, time to put it back on. The good shaft, that is. And we've got, you can see that it's moving freely. Sometimes these things get frozen up. But this thing should just wiggle it in, and it should pop into place. And once it does, you should just be able to slide it back in there. Let's see. Here we go. This should just slide in there. There we go. Now we'll take the lock washer and set. Well, let's do the set screw first. See if we can get that in there first. See how this goes here. All right, so we're set. Again, if you use an impact, be very, very careful. Come on, there we go. I'll tighten this lock ring back up. That'll keep this from going anywhere. And now we just take the throttle and pop it back in. So you've got, this is a second set screw, so that the so I guess that this throttle mechanism doesn't spin around like this on the shaft. You line it up with the bolt hole there. It's another one of the smaller pointy tip screws. Goes into that. There we go. Time is everything when you have a weed eater that's only worth about 50 bucks. But we save them all here, it seems. Saved all of them, but about, I don't know, 10, 15 of them. Okay, so that's working correctly, the throttle. As long as it doesn't come out of that little loop thing, you're good. Okay, so that's pretty much it when it comes to this. You're good to go when it comes to that. Real quickly, I'll go over the whole process of getting the string in and stuff. It is a little bit of a process. I'll probably just give you a quick review since I'm trying to move this video along. This shaft is nice and solid here at the end. Sometimes the set screw will get messed up, and the shaft, it'll wallow out in the shaft, and you'll get a little bit of a twisting of the head, but I don't think we'll have that in this case. What I do need to do from this shaft to the other one is I need to switch out the guard, which is just I think it's just 3 screws. Yeah, it's just 3 Torx again. Just take that out. I need to swap this head, or I need to take the guts of this head out and put it in that. Probably either restring it or get the string back out of it, one of the two. So let me go ahead and get that set up, and like I said, all I'm doing is taking these 3 screws out. This will cause this guard to slide right out. I'm going to unscrew this. It's maybe a reverse thread. It's not. Some of them are. pull it out, we will replace the string on it. There's a spring, make sure that's going in. We'll make sure that this shaft is the same. And it is, so that's good. And I'll take care of those and get all that set up, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. A lot of times if you look at these, like I said, I'm just going to replace the entire string on this. I'm going to use .080 because the .095 I don't think fits on these. But you should have an arrow as the direction that you're supposed to turn it when you... I don't think this one does, actually. Some of them do, some of them don't. Usually the cheaper ones don't. And that's, I think that's the case with this one, actually, because I don't see one. But we'll get to it. If you can kind of see the direction that they're currently turned, that may be the correct way. Like I said, we'll have to see. So it's out to the right from the bottom, and we'll try that first. If not, we'll go to the left. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'll show you the end result of how I string it before I put it on to the head, and I'll catch you then. Alright y'all, so I put it on. I'll show you real quick. New line and such. I did the .080 just because I think the .095 gets a little bit difficult to string in on these weed eaters. Literally exactly what I did, what I showed y'all. Turn it the direction it was this way in order to get it in, and then I just shoved it up and screwed this on. You just put the tabs in. You put the string in the tabs, put the tabs parallel to this hole on the outlet, put the string through, and then when you push up, the tabs automatically come off, and your auto bump feature is good to go. So let's crank this thing up and see if it runs good. I think I still got to work on the toggle switch, but we'll see. Started right up. So it still needs a little tuning, which I'll do here in a second. And I've got to figure out why it's not grounding out. That's going to be the next task. And I hope I don't have to take a bunch off to get to it. I think I could just crack this screw right here and get down to the coil to see what's going on. It's actually already missing. I think I can get to it fairly easily. But when I push the button, nothing happens. So I got something going on here. Maybe, I don't know if it's a broken wire or bad switch, but like I said, we'll get to it. This might be the most time intensive thing of all of it, unfortunately. We shall see. But yeah, that's where we're at. Tune it a little bit, figure out this deal with this ground switch, and we'll be done with this thing. Well, we have good news on the coil issue. The wire was actually just unplugged down here, so I just plugged it right back in, and I'll probably need to plug this one in better too, because it's trying to come out on me. Also, all I do when I have these is take pliers, just push these tabs in, and then shove it back on the connector there. So I'm going to do that, and I might let y'all ride along with me as I put everything back on here. I think we've got to. So what I did is I took all 4 of these screws off for the engine block. That allowed me to get things in, get things off. Probably didn't have to, but it may be a little bit tricky getting this back on because I think it may have slipped off, the clutch might have slipped off or something like that. But we're just going to put the pliers back on, or put the pliers and I know you can't see it, but I'm just squeezing it back in. Squeezing that connector, and then I'm just sliding it back on to the coil. Tolerances are a little tight here. But we'll just slide it back on, just like so. I have a cover here. You have to take the coil wire off to get the cover. See, I can rotate it 90 degrees for y'all. There we go. That'd be 180 degrees, wouldn't it? So this is the back side. We're gonna go. Goes on top. This goes underneath. Slides in. Yeah, it slides in just like that. Now we're gonna put in our engine again. Yes. Darn, this clutch slid off, so it may take a second to try and get that back in. But I'll get that popped back in, and then we will finish this off. Shouldn't be. There we go. I think I might have got it there. There we go. Popped it back on. Let's get some screws back in this thing. Get a magnetic tip screwdriver. We're going to slide. This is the hard part, because you got to get this screw in and then get it started. And if you don't have the right torques, which I guess I don't around here, it makes it difficult. I don't know what this thing's doing. Gotta get it just right, apparently, because I don't have it just right now. Once you get it right, though, you just take this one, the one on the top, and there's 2 on the other side, just screw them back in, and we'll put them back together. Wow, that thing's bright. We'll put them back together, and then we should be good to go. You have to put the 4 screws on from the back side as well. That's really easy to do. Nothing really attached to that. So when we do that, we'll test this thing out and hopefully be done with it. Alright guys, so I got everything back together. These screws on the front were really hard to line back up, just so you know. Once you get them lined up, one lined up, the rest is pretty easy. Just going to tune the carb a little bit. probably about as good as we're going to get there, I think. It's not too bad. Not too bad for something I literally pulled out of the woods. Yeah, like I said, not too bad. So that's going to end this. Again, we just made a nice $50 weed eater, and hope that y'all enjoyed the video. Like I said, I've got a video on replacing the carburetor. I'll put in the link below. I used a HIPAA carburetor for that. I used just the cheapo carb for that. This one seemed like it was okay. Really no huge difference between the two. You just have a little bit nicer packaging and probably a little bit better product support if you go with the HIPAA one. But just for the cheap aftermarket, it seemed like it works okay. We restrung it and we put the shaft in it, replaced the shaft, and we got us a nice weed eater now. So we'll go on a little bit more extensive items, I suppose, here in the coming days and weeks. But I appreciate y'all watching as always. Remember, thank you for all the support, and just videos like this help make things like this possible as well. So if you have any questions about the video, feel free to reach out to me, Ellis at ellismowers.com, or at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook. And I think the case study with the chainsaw that I mentioned at the beginning of the video is going to be the same, so I'm not really going to bother even filming it because I don't even have it here, and I wanted to keep this thing weed eater specific with replacing shafts and stuff like that, and fine-tuning it and all that good stuff. So again, thank you all for watching, and I will catch y'all on the next video. See you then.